Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're cutting through the noise to understand something really crucial if you're involved in hunting leases. What actually makes a great lessee for a landowner? I've gone through this Basecamp leasing article, what makes a good lessee for their landowner, and, well, it's definitely more than just writing a check.
That's absolutely right. I mean, sure, hunting leases have clear benefits. Landowners get some passive income. Outdoorsmen get access, which is huge. But this source really hammers home the best agreements. They're not just transactions.
Right.
They're built on really solid relationships. So our mission today is kind of unpack those key things that make a simple lease into, a real partnership that benefits everyone. We're talking about the essentials of being a top-notch lessee.
Okay, let's get into that, starting with what feels like the foundation. The article kicks things off by highlighting these core elements. First one up, knowledge of rights.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is knowing your rights isn't just about what you get to do.
Hmm.
It's really about understanding the whole agreement for both sides. That means actually like digging into the state hunting laws and the details in that contract. If you don't, well, you could have awkward moments later or, even real issues. It's step one for building trust.
Okay, so from knowing the rules, we move to interacting. The source really stresses proper communication. Seems straightforward.
It does, but, it's where things can easily go wrong. Think of it like an open line. If the landowner's doing work that might mess with your hunt, you need to know.
Right.
And just as important, if you've got a big hunt planned or maybe bringing a guest, just a quick heads up for the landowner avoids those surprise moments that can really damage trust. It's more than just schedules, though. It's about having that open, clear, respectful communication all the time. Utmost communication, as they put it.
And that respect piece leads right into the next point, respectful interactions. Sounds simple, but I bet it can get tested sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's basically the golden rule, isn't it? Treat landowners kindly, and usually you get that back. The article really pushes for keeping talks appropriate, civil, even when things get difficult. It says, take the high road. And you'd be surprised how fast things can sour if a landowner feels disrespected. Doesn't matter how good the hunting is then. But a little bit of courtesy, that can turn a one-year lease into a really long-term thing, even a friendship.
So pulling these first three together, knowledge, communication, respect. It really drives home that this isn't just business. It's like a personal relationship. It's built on trust and being clear with each other. Without that baseline, the rest probably doesn't matter much.
You've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. These aren't optional extras, they're the non-negotiables. If a landowner can't trust you or can't communicate well with you or just feels, disrespected, then the best hunting spot in the world won't save that lease. It really sets the entire tone.
All right, good foundation. Let's pivot now to the practical stuff, the operational side, the nuts and bolts that keep a lease running smoothly. Number 4 is consistent payment. Seems obvious.
It does seem obvious, yeah, just pay your bills.
Right.
But it gets glossed over, and it's so critical. Landowners often rely on that income. Any delay, any feeling of flakiness, even if it's just a couple of days late, that can chip away at trust really fast.
Right, sends a bad signal.
Exactly. It suggests you're not fully committed or maybe not reliable. So rule 1, only lease what you can truly afford and make those payments renewals included on time. Every single time. It just shows you're dependable.
Makes total sense. Okay, next, and this ties into being dependable. Following of stipulated rules in the lease agreement.
Yeah, and this is where you got to pay attention to the fine print. Lots of contracts have standard stuff, but landowners often add specific clauses for their property. Things like no food plots, maybe, or no ATVs after dark. And these usually aren't just random rules. They're there for important reasons, managing the land, maybe protecting livestock, or even just keeping things quiet for neighbors. Following these isn't just about checking boxes. It shows you respect their property and their specific concerns.
And speaking of rules, there's another layer, the one set by the state, not just the landowner, but just as crucial, abiding by game laws and regulations.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this should be a given for any ethical hunter, right? These laws exist to protect wildlife, ensure fair chase, keep hunters safe. A landowner isn't going to want someone on their property who ignores basic game laws.
No way.
It reflects badly on everyone and could have really serious consequences, way beyond just losing the lease. It's about being a responsible steward, really.
Now, here's one that maybe isn't always front of mind, but is super important. Hunting lease insurance policy? The source calls it a no-brainer, which suggests maybe it gets overlooked sometimes.
It definitely does, and, it's easy to see why it's a no-brainer when you think about it. Hunting isn't risk-free. Accidents happen, maybe property damage, maybe an injury.
Yeah.
Having liability insurance, particularly when you're on someone else's land, doesn't just protect you financially, it gives the landowner huge peace of mind. They're letting you onto their valuable asset. Knowing they're covered if something unexpected happens, that makes them way more comfortable granting access and renewing it. It's a proactive move that really speaks volumes about how responsible you are.
Okay, so this whole operational section, it really shows that the practical stuff like paying on time, sticking to the rules, obeying laws, and being smart with insurance, these aren't just good ideas.
Yeah.
They're absolutely essential for a smooth, trusting partnership.
Precisely. These are the things that keep the gears turning smoothly day to day. They minimize friction and build trust through consistent, responsible behavior.
All right, finally, let's dive into maybe the most revealing part of being a good lessee, how you actually treat the land itself. The article starts with respecting the flora and fauna, calling it a must-have characteristic. It even says if you fail here, nothing else really matters. That's pretty strong.
It is strong, and for good reason. It's fundamental. This goes beyond just following game laws. It's about a kind of a deeper respect for the whole ecosystem you're part of when you're out there. Respecting the landscape itself, the wildlife, the wild places. It shows you see yourself as, participating in nature, not just using it up. If you don't genuinely care for the environment, then all the timely payments and polite talk in the world won't make you a good long-term fit in the landowner's view. It's about shared values, really.
And tied right into that is avoiding property damage. This isn't just be careful, is it? It's more specific.
Yeah, it's more than just common courtesy. The source gives some really good practical examples of things to avoid. Like instead of just cutting down trees to make a shooting lane, it says trim limbs as permitted. That's a key difference. Cutting down trees can mess with timber value, how the place looks, even wildlife. And same with ATVs, avoid tearing up fields and trails, especially when it's wet. Use four-wheel drive properly. It shows you understand how to minimize your impact.
Okay, then there's proactive property maintenance. Now, that sounds a bit like, is the lessee supposed to do the landowner's upkeep?
No, not at all. It's not about general farm chores or anything. It's about taking responsibility for your stuff and your actions.
Oh.
So the example they give is like a hub-style blind that blows out into fields in a storm. Well, that's your blind, right? So you go get it. Or making sure your tree stands don't girdle trees by restrapping them properly. That shows you're thinking long-term about the health of their trees. It's just personal accountability for your impact.
Gotcha. And the last point really seems to show that ultimate level of commitment, keeping an eye on the property.
Yeah, this is where a lessee goes from just being a renter to being a truly trusted partner, a steward. Good lessees, they're not just there to hunt, they're actively looking out for things the landowner would care about.
Like what?
Could be anything, really. Livestock getting out of fences, damages to buildings or gates, maybe signs of potential trespassing. You basically become another set of eyes watching over their land. You report things back. That kind of help can save a landowner a lot of time, money, stress. It makes you incredibly valuable, way beyond the lease fee.
Wow. So these last points really paint a picture of the ideal lessee as like a temporary caretaker.
Yeah.
Someone who treats the land like it's their own, not just a playground. It's about building that reputation for being invested.
Exactly right. It shifts the whole thing from just a transaction to a genuine partnership. The lessee is actively helping keep the property healthy and secure. That's just invaluable.
So there we have it, those 10 key characteristics, plus that crucial piece about insurance. That's what really defines a good lessee in the eyes of a landowner. This deep dive, I think, really shows that whether you're the hunter looking for access or the landowner thinking about leasing, understanding these points isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's the key to, like the article says, a fantastic year of hunting and building partnerships that actually last, built on respect and shared responsibility.
It does raise a bigger question, though. We focused hard on hunting leases today, obviously, but think about how these core ideas, knowledge, good communication, respect, being responsible, that proactive care, stewardship, how do they play out in other parts of your life? Places where you're given trust or access. Could be a borrowed car, maybe a team project at work, even just, a close friendship. What does being a good lessee in that broader sense really mean for you? Definitely something to chew on.
Absolutely. A great thought to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope you feel well informed and ready to put these ideas into practice.